Hello everybody, and welcome to the Marvel A to Z series here on the Richest Realm channel. In this series, we'll be looking at the characters throughout the Marvel Universe, looking into their powers, story history, allies, and enemies. There'll be some big names you've heard of, and some you may not, as well as some weird and wonderful creations throughout Marvel's history. So let's kick things off with the first letter of the series, and who better to start with than the big guy who was possibly the first mutant of all time. He is a being born thousands of years ago, and believed to be the first human born with the mutant X gene. Because of his grey skin and blue lips, he was abandoned as an infant, but was rescued by Baal of the Sandstormers, who named him Unsabanur, meaning the first one. During his earlier years, after the death of Baal and being left heartbroken by Nephri, Unsabanur's powers fully manifested, and he renamed himself Apocalypse. And as the years went on, Apocalypse found he no longer aged. As the millennia passed, Apocalypse travelled around the earth using the celestial technology given to him by Baal and was worshipped as a god. He would manipulate civilizations into starting wars to test which nations were the fittest. He would also use the celestial technology to enter periods of suspended animation, leaving his prodigy Clan Akaba and the enslaved clairvoyant Ozymandias to act in his stead. Moving on to the more modern day, in the 20th century, Apocalypse decided the emerging mutants were destined to supersede the unfit ordinary humans. He battled the original X-Factor and X-Men, who were dedicated to a peaceful coexistence between humans and mutants. Throughout the years, Apocalypse has recruited followers known as his Horsemen, taking the roles of death, famine, war, and pestilence. He has sometimes even recruited his foes as his horsemen. Angel and Wolverine have each taken the role of death on different occasions. Although he was extraordinarily long-lived, Apocalypse's physical body eventually wore out. Apocalypse survived by projecting his consciousness into another's body, which he continued to do on multiple occasions. Apocalypse's spirit was once thought to have been destroyed by Cable after Jean Grey ripped it from Cyclops' body. But no matter how many times Apocalypse has been destroyed, he has always returned stronger and more deadly than ever. An engineering genius and ruthless human, Arcade came into his fortune by allegedly killing his billionaire father. However, much of Arcade's history, including his real name, remains unknown, and due to his lying nature, you can't even believe his history from his own mouth, as he has once claimed he lived with his family on a ranch in Texas, as well as a mansion in Beverly Hills. Arcade became a freelance assassin, travelling all over the world, killing people in a rather mundane fashion, but amassed even more wealth. After discovering an aptitude for technology, Arcade designed and built his first murder world, a subterranean evil lair disguised as an amusement park. From this base, he re-emerged as the world's most expensive hitman. For the price of $1 million, he would tailor murder worlds to exploit the specific weaknesses of his targets, and then watch as they were killed by a variety of colourful death traps strewn throughout the facility. However, one of his gimmicks is that he always deliberately leaves each target a small chance of survival. Arcade has captured and toyed with many superheroes over the years, including Spider-Man and the X-Men, but they have always managed to escape. His murder worlds have been constructed at numerous locations, such as a travelling circus, Las Vegas, and once on a desert island where he kidnapped 16 superpowered teenagers, pitting them against each other in a life-or-death competition where only one would survive. Unfortunately, several heroes were killed before they could escape. Months later, Cullen Bloodstone convinced the other survivors to kill Arcade, only to discover that the one they killed was actually just a clone, and the real Arcade was still very much alive. Now let's finish this episode with a weird and wacky Marvel creation, Armadillo. When his wife became mortally ill, Antonio Rodriguez turned to Dr. Carl Malus, who promised to try and cure her if Antonio worked for him and submitted to his experiments. During one experiment, Malus combined genes from an armadillo with Antonio, transforming him into a humanoid armadillo. Malus assigned the armadillo to invade the Avengers' West Coast compound. There, Captain America defeated the armadillo but realised he was not a criminal at heart. Armadillo later turned to take part in wrestling matches against super strong opponents to earn a living, but returned to crime as part of Baron Zemo's army of evil. So that wraps up this first video of the series. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, and if you're not already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, drop me a comment of your favourite character starting with the letter A, and you might get a shout out in the next video.